Nowadays, being a high school grad is so outdated. Don't you think so, Jack? I'm the next CEO. I can deal with the thought of being with someone who's broke and trying to start a family.
I'm always hearing this from my sister's fiance's brother. He's 10 years my junior. Yet, seeing my sister Alice smiling through her struggles, seemingly happy, I kept enduring. My name is Jack Sawyer, 35 years old. Just like my brother-in-law says, I'm just a high school grad working. I too wanted to graduate from college like everyone else. But reality hit hard. I had to drop out of high school. I needed to work. I had to support my younger sister, Alice. We never had a dad. I don't know why, but I only remember having a mom. My family was poor. Our daily meal was just bean sprouts. To prevent me from being bullied at school, my mom made sure to get me into the bath every day. But the water was barely enough to soak in. Life was tough but bearable with my sweet sister and mom. However, things changed when I was in college. Mom started using fancy cosmetics and going out late at night. I wish she'd spend that money on us instead of on something like that. Then the worst happened. When I was a college freshman, my mom hooked up with a guy and never came back, leaving 5-year-old Alice and me behind. The house was empty when I returned from school. My mom took away almost all of furniture and appliances, probably to sell for cash, and Alice was left alone with hardly any food, probably having been crying all alone. I really resented my mom. I resented and hated her. But hating her didn't bring in any money. So, I worked desperately in various part-time jobs. To keep Alice and me alive, I had to work hard. Before going to school, I used to do a newspaper route. After school, I used to work at a bar until late at night. When I returned home from my part-time job, I often thought Alice might have been crying alone. There were traces of tears on her face as she slept. Despite working hard, money was never enough. We were far from living comfortably. Every day, seeing Alice cry, I kept telling her, "Alice, smile." No matter how broke we were, I kept believing that if we could keep smiling through it all, something good would eventually happen. I kept telling Alice the same. Then I made up my mind. I will work to make Alice happy. I put an end to my college life. However, no matter how resolved I was, in those times, finding a job with just a high school diploma was nearly impossible. I was rejected everywhere I called, and I went there in person and pleaded, but it was a total bust. Struggling for food in the park, a man approached me. He gave me some bread and a drink. Touched by that kindness, I cried while eating the bread. He listened to my story. I explained my situation: no money, needing to work, and having a 5-year-old sister with no parents around.
I see, you're struggling with money. You've really worked hard. How about working at my place? I'll talk to the owner for you.
A man offered.
This is where I work.
He took me to a place I knew well, a famous upscale restaurant in our neighborhood. I had never set foot in it before, but he led me to the owner. I told the owner my story, and he listened to my disjointed tale quietly and seriously. When I finished my story, he simply said, "How about living and working here? Of course, bring your sister too." I can't express how happy I was. "Yes, sir. Thank you so much. I'll do my best. So, the next day, I started working at this upscale restaurant. My first real job was incredibly hard. I had to retrain my greetings multiple times and performed menial tasks every day. Still, I worked hard for the happiness of my sister, Alice. As I get used to it, I had to learn everything from scratch, like manners and etiquette. Despite frequent scoldings, I learned a lot. I spent all my earnings on Alice. When Alice started elementary school, we went together to buy her first backpack. It was the first thing I bought for her with the money I earned from work. She was thrilled, and she cherished that backpack until it wore out. One time, at a restaurant, Alice saw a woman getting proposed to and receiving a bunch of roses. She said, "I want to be the kind of person who gets that many roses too." We didn't have much money, but every year on Alice's birthday, I would buy her a single rose to celebrate. All other money, besides what was needed for living expenses, I saved. I managed our finances so Alice could choose any high school or college. I enjoyed my work and raising Alice. 20 years passed. I still work at the restaurant. Alice, now 25, graduated college. She said, "I want to help people struggling like us," and became a civil servant in social welfare.
I want to do more for people in need.
She seemed to be fighting every day, saying that. Then one day, she mentioned, "Bro, I have someone I want you to meet." I knew she had a boyfriend but hadn't asked, thinking it might be intrusive. "What? You getting married?" Jokingly, I asked, but Alice answered seriously with a yes. "Really?" And with that, I was truly happy. "Congratulations, Alice." I kept saying, "Truly happy." In front of her, I certainly showered her with lots of congratulations. I'd be lying if I said I wasn't feeling a bit sad. Alice has really grown up. I fought feeling like a father sending off his daughter to marriage. Alice showed me her engagement ring shyly. "That's a beautiful ring. Is your fiancé wealthy?" Her answer surprised me.
Yes, he's the son of a company president. They supply food products even to our restaurant. He has an older brother, so he's not taking over the company.
The son of a company president, huh? I understood why he could afford such a sparkling ring.
I have a request.
What is it? I'll help in any way I can.
I have so many memories here at this restaurant. I was hoping to have my wedding here. What do you think?
I felt that Alice had really grown and proud of her when she said something like that. I'm sure the owner will be thrilled. We'll all look forward to your big day. And when I said I'll talk to the owner tomorrow, she smiled brightly. That night, we shared many memories of the restaurant. The next day, I told the owner about Alice's wedding plans. He was genuinely happy, eager to make it a special day for her. But I felt some anxiety about the future. I have no parents, and there are no relatives I can rely on. There's no one but me for Alice. And I'm just a brother who works with a high school diploma. What would her fiancé's family think of us? I wondered if she had told them about our situation. Without asking, the day for meeting both families arrived.
I'm William Garcia. It's a pleasure to meet you. I've heard a lot about you from Alice, who I've been seeing for a while now.
He left a very positive impression as a young man. Despite being a president's son, he showed no disdain for my circumstances. In fact, he seemed to admire and respect me. But my relief was short-lived. Suddenly, William's brother, Logan, interrupted.
Is Alice's brother a high school graduate? Why would William marry into such a poor family, I wonder?
He said such words right after we met. That's a valid point, but Alice works hard as a civil servant. Please take good care of her. I replied.
Poor Alice having a brother like him. In contrast, William is lucky to have a brother like me, ho.
William and Alice tried to smooth things over, but his words cut deep.
We run a company, see? Poor folks might not appreciate its greatness. You know, we're inviting many important guests to the wedding. Having poor folks as the in-laws for the marriage would drag down our stocks too, ho.
I could take whatever was thrown at me, as long as Alice was happy. But he said the very thing I didn't want to hear.
Even if I reluctantly agree to let Alice marry into our family because she's cute, I still don't want to accept you as part of the family just because you're her big brother. We have no obligation to accept it. You know, don't come to the wedding. It's a celebration with our clients. Someone like you, a broke guy, is better suited to celebrate your sister's new chapter in life from home, don't you think? Do the right thing as a bro for once.
The in-laws just smiled awkwardly. I was furious but held back. I refrained from responding emotionally because I thought it would make Alice sad. Understood. I won't attend, I said calmly.
Wait, bro.
Alice protested, but I quietly left. Alice kept trying to persuade me repeatedly afterward.
I want you, bro, to see it. I want you to come.
But my feelings didn't change. I don't want you to feel bad on your big day. So, as an employee, I'll do my best to celebrate your new beginning, okay? Despite my efforts, Alice seemed unconvinced until the day I would be able to witness her big day. Not in a family capacity, but as an employee. It was just great to catch a glimpse of her in her wedding attire. The owner and my colleagues were creatively preparing for her wedding every day. The owner came up with some fantastic dish and cake ideas, and my colleagues, even working overtime, handmade decorations every day. Watching them, I felt happy, thinking, all for Alice. On the day, I celebrated Alice as much as I could as an employee. For this special occasion, I surprised the bride and groom by scattering Alice's favorite rose petals upon their entrance. I also decorated the head table with lots of roses. That was all I could do. My coworkers often asked, "Why aren't you attending as family?" I just smiled and said, "I'm an employee here. I have to work." I really wish I could celebrate Alice as her family. In my heart, I whispered. Despite being the star of the day, Alice looked unhappy. She must have wanted me to be there. Logan, my beau through my sister's marriage, noticed Alice's condition and remarked, "It's nice not having such a screw-up of a brother around." That was when everyone started eating and drinking following the toast. He was guzzling alcohol.
Hey, give me some wine, the expensive kind. Hey, you there, employee, bring more drinks.
His inappropriate behavior was starkly visible at the wedding. People around started murmuring, "What's with that guy?" That's why he started loudly bad-mouthing me.
Do you know why the bride's family isn't here? There are no parents. Her brother's just a high school graduate. It's a miracle such a cute girl grew up in that family. Can you even eat food made by a high school graduate? But don't worry, our family will make Alice happy. Just drop the Sawyer name and start going by Garcia, okay?
I could hear the wedding guests whispering, "That's terrible, so insensitive." I felt like losing my temper, but my rationality kept me in check. I can't ruin Alice's big day. I whispered to myself over and over again. Despite it being her big moment, I caught Alice's eye, and she looked sad. "Smile, Alice." I mounted her from where I was standing. Noticing this, she tried her best to smile even on the verge of tears. Then came the time for letters to the parents. Of course, with no parents, I wondered what she would do. But to my surprise, it was a letter of thanks to me. Alice began to read it, her voice trembling.
To my brother, you gave up your college life to work hard at this restaurant for me. Thank you, owner, for always supporting us and making today special.
The owner and co-workers were listening with teary eyes.
We siblings had no parents. I cried every day, but each time my brother would say, "Smile, Alice," and he was always there for me. That's why I've been able to live happily and smile every day up to today. Without my brother, I couldn't have survived. He always wished for my happiness.
Alice broke down in tears.
My brother is my greatest ally. The reason I've been able to spend my life so happily and smiling is all thanks to my brother. Even those times when we only had bean sprouts to eat now seem like good memories. Having such a wonderful brother is why I've been able to live without wanting for anything. I was able to go to the high school and the university of my choice.
Crying, Alice continued.
I love my brother the most in the world. Thank you for everything.
William was there supporting Alice, who was breaking down in tears. Watching this, I held back tears, feeling reassured. With William, Alice would be happy. She received a round of applause, and I felt incredibly proud. Suddenly, the MC announced, "Here's Alice's beloved brother." I was introduced, but I looked down. While listening to Alice's letter, my face was already a mess of tears and runny nose. I had never let Alice see me cry, and didn't want to start now. While desperately hiding my tears, I bowed my head and covered my face, saying, "Thank you, thank you." I was showered with unprecedented applause and many words of praise saying, "You've done so well." The whole venue was wrapped in emotion. At that moment, Logan, staggering toward the MC, clearly drunk, came into view. "Please, no more," I prayed, when one of my colleagues intervened, saying Alice's letter was wonderful. Truly, Jack Sawyer is someone we all trust.
And here's the groom's brother. We have a special gift for you. Please follow me.
In this manner, he led Logan out of the venue. William looked down, embarrassed. The quick thinking of my colleague saved Alice's big day. Logan, smiling, was led out of the venue.
Where's the gift for me?
He slurred, bumping into someone. Ouch. Watch where you're going. As Logan yelled, there stood a man in a fancy suit right in front of him. The man he bumped into was none other than our owner. But it seemed like Logan didn't realize it was the owner.
I've been watching your behavior, and it's been incredibly rude.
Shut up. It's only natural for such a poor guy to be treated that way. Our company is a major enterprise. I don't need to take orders from someone old like you. I'm the next CEO. Scoot over, old man.
He continued, ranting on. The owner listened quietly before responding. And then he said,
I run this restaurant. I'm cutting ties with a company that lacks manners and etiquette like this from now on.
Logan's face turned pale.
Wait, you're the owner,
He couldn't complete his sentence.
I'm sorry, I drank too much.
Unmoved, the owner said,
You're the future president, huh? Our company had a good relationship with your predecessor, sourcing all our food products from you. However, we will cease all transactions with you going forward.
Logan suddenly panicked and started apologizing. Upon hearing the commotion, his parents rushed pale-faced and in a panic towards the owner.
We are so sorry for the trouble caused by my idiotic son. We truly apologize. Thank you sincerely for your ongoing support. Our company truly flourishes thanks to the patronage of esteemed establishments like yours.
Seeing his parents apologizing, he seemed to realize the gravity of what he had done. The owner stood firm. No future dealings. First, teach your son some manners, and walked back into the venue, smiling. Logan collapsed, realizing the gravity of his actions. He clung to me, pleading, You work here, right? I'm sorry for everything. Please convince the owner to reconsider. But I simply said, Please don't hurt Alice, and returned to the venue. The next day, the owner indeed called the in-laws.
I don't want to use any products from such a man who would be so disrespectful at a celebration.
He said it in anger. Over the phone, the words, I'm terribly sorry about my idiot son. Later, William and Alice came to the restaurant to greet us, rings on their fingers, to announce their marriage and apologize for Logan's behavior. William said he originally worked for a major food company to gain some social experience, and he plans to continue working there in the future. And it seems his family's company went bankrupt after our restaurant ceased transactions with them. The connection with our restaurant had been crucial, and Logan's company spiraled into difficulties soon after the owner's decision. William apologized to me respectfully.
I'm truly sorry for not stopping my brother's rude behavior and for hurting Alice's important brother. I have the utmost respect for you. If I were in your shoes, I'm not sure if I could have protected Alice like you did. The way you've cared for Alice is truly admirable. I'll do my best to make her happy from now on.
I felt incredibly happy. It's not about being impressive for working since college or working at a fancy restaurant. I just felt like I was finally acknowledged for who I am. As for Logan, he's been cast out by his family with the words, "A son like you needs to start learning from scratch," and is now wandering around with nowhere to go and no money. But if he ever changes his heart, I'm willing to help him. I understand the pain of having nowhere to go and no money better than anyone. Alice is happily living with William. On weekends, they get involved in volunteering together, doing things like food distribution and being a support for the needy. As for me, at that wedding, no matter how many snide remarks I received, I stayed professional, highlighting my accomplishments. In fact, I was recognized and praised by the owner, who even mentioned that I'm being considered as the next president. But whether I become the president or not, just being able to work happily and being called our esteemed Jack by my colleagues is enough for me. Surrounded by a respectful owner and trustworthy colleagues, I too am very happy